Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Cronos. And this movie came out in 1992, and it's directed by Guillermo del Toro, and it was his first feature film. And for a first feature film, I think it's really great. I enjoyed this movie overall, and it was pretty well shot, like all of Guillermo's movies. And the only ones from him that I haven't seen yet, just getting a little bit off topic, to which movies I've seen from him. It's easier to say which ones I have not seen because there's only two. I haven't seen Mimic or The Devil's Backbone. Those are the only two that I haven't seen, but everything else I have seen. And I've, for the most part, thoroughly enjoyed each and every single one of his movies. The only one that I didn't really like all that much was Crimson Peak, but I could come back to it at some point just to see if I still feel the same way about it or not. And I did kind of like, on paper, how this movie tries to tackle different tones and ideas, and none of them are executed poorly on their own. However, my issue with it is that when they flow together, and that's what it's expected to do, is for all these things to flow together, it just doesn't work for me that well. I kind of felt that all of a sudden, after a certain amount of time, I was just watching a different movie. I was like, oh, I'm watching this now. And at points, it's like a horror movie. Then it turns into a fantasy. Then it turns into a drama. Then it turns into kind of somewhat of an action movie towards the end. And other things are still going on. And sure, that's fine and all. But the way it flowed for me, it just didn't sit right with me. But going back to positives, there was one moment towards the beginning where I thought the horror was well executed. And I didn't mind the music on its own. I thought it kind of stood out as good, even if I didn't love it in terms of how it was used in the movie or how it complemented the movie. Not that it dragged the movie down, it just wasn't the most memorable thing in the movie for me. But one thing that did stand out to me as really great was Ron Perlman. He was pretty fun to watch. And I find it to be kind of funny that Ron Perlman is in just about all of Guillermo's movies. From this all the way up to now, he's in just about every single one, with the exception of a few. He's in the majority of Guillermo's movies, which I find to be really funny. And like all of Guillermo's movies, I love the designs of everything in the movie when it comes to the creatures or just like little props or sets, stuff like that. And this movie is no exception. I thought all of that looked great. It was really cool to look at. And this movie was somehow made for $2 million. I'm not sure if that's adjusted for inflation, but that's quite impressive. I think it looks a lot better than $2 million. And I do like the idea with the one child in the movie, how there's a girl in this movie who is in the movie for quite a bit of the movie, but she doesn't talk up until the very end. She just says one word and that's it. I thought that was a really great restrained choice, and you get better child performances when they're not required to actually talk, and I thought that was a good idea. But going back to some negatives that I had, there were a couple of effects in this movie that didn't look the very best. But those are only a couple moments that pulled me out of the movie. And also I just ran into some odd conveniences that were present in the movie. And I'm like, what? How did we get from here to there? It just felt a little convenient. And sure, I could understand it from a script perspective that you need to get from point A to point B. It also some other things that might be going on. But the way it was presented just felt oddly convenient to me. But aside from that, I thought this movie was pretty good. Not one of my favorites from Guillermo del Toro. Pan's Labyrinth is still my favorite by far. And also, one thing to mention about this movie, nothing to do with the quality of the film, but the version that I watched this movie on Max, and the version that they have is just Spanish with subtitles on, and it's not an option to turn them on or off. And I was thinking like, okay, is something wrong here? And I just couldn't turn on subtitles. But the way it played in the movie, you get subtitles when they're speaking in Spanish, but not when they're speaking in English. And for those who are wondering why that's kind of something that stands out to me is that I watch movies with subtitles, whether they're speaking English or not, just to make sure that I don't miss anything or mishear what a character says at any given point, and I personally don't find it distracting. So if that happens for you, all I can say is that this is just the way Max has it. I'm not sure if other streaming platforms are the same way, but I'm just saying what my experience while watching this movie was. But anyways, going back to Cronos, I thought it was good. Performances were really good also. I didn't really mention that, but I wasn't pulled out by the performances in this movie, and I liked the characters in this movie as well, and it just gives you what you would want from one of Guillermo's movies, and there's some charm to it. There's plenty to like in it. Even if this wasn't his first feature film, there's a lot that I do like in it, and despite that, and I would definitely recommend that you check it out. And it's a good movie by the end of the day. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Cronos a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Cronos, and my social media links will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Mummy from 1932, starring Boris Karloff, so look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.